Zoom master, so give me a thumbs up when you have hit record. Sweet. Recording. Hello and welcome to Fresno City Toastmasters. I'm your president, Farron Jacobson. Today is an exciting day. We get to induct our new members. So I believe we have Brent, Taylor, Heather, and Winnie. Is that everyone?
Chanel hasn't had a swearing in, even though she's been here for a while.
Who? Chanel?
Chanel?
Oh,
me neither did I. When I
Tony, you didn't have the swearing in either? All right.
Nope.
Wow. Okay, awesome. Well, even better. Let's start off as usual with our mission statement. It's in the bottom left corner of your agenda if you want to follow along. It says, we provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Super excited for our new members. And let's see, business announcements. I've already went over dues several times. I think everyone has pretty much heard it and got it done. We don't have any new guests today. And reminder that we are going dark for the holidays, so we won't be meeting on December 22nd or 29th. So our last meeting will be next Tuesday, and then we won't resume until 2021. Cool. We'll go over some housekeeping for Zoom meetings. Mute yourself until you're called upon. Do try to stand up if you are speaking, and we use our jazz hands instead of applause. I think that's about it. Before we move on to Toastmaster of the Day, let's do our induction of new members. It says inducting officer reads the statement. Is that me as the president, or does the VP of membership do that? Do you know, Joey?
It's actually me.
Okay, sweet.
That makes sense.
Go for it. Pass it over.
Does everybody have their script in front of them? You might as well go ahead and unmute yourself for now, because this is going to involve all of us. So Denny, you need to unmute. Heather, Sarah, okay. So being a Toastmaster means more than simply making a commitment to self-development. Everyone who joins the Toastmasters Club is making a commitment to the club, to its members, and to the organization as a whole. What do you pledge to the Fresno City Toastmasters Club? So now, our new members, you are going to repeat after me. As a member of Toastmasters International and the Fresno City Toastmasters Club, I promise to attend club meetings regularly. Prepare all of my speeches to the best of my ability, basing them on projects in the program, manuals. Actually, we need to take that out, or pathways.
To prepare all my speeches to the best of my ability, basing them on projects in the program, manuals, or pathways.
Prepare for and fulfill meeting assignments.
To willingly prepare for and fulfill meeting assignments.
Provide fellow members with helpful, constructive evaluations to help the club maintain the positive, friendly environment necessary for all members to learn and grow.
To provide fellow members with helpful, constructive evaluations to help the club maintain the positive, friendly environment necessary for all members to learn and grow.
Why don't we read the rest of them? We'll just read them all together, okay?
Okay.
To willingly
serve
my club as an
officer when called upon to do so.
To treat my fellow club members as our guests with respect and courtesy. Bring guests club meetings
so they can
see the benefits Toastmasters
membership offers.
To adhere to the
guidelines and rules for all Toastmasters educational recognition program.
And finally, to maintain honest, highly ethical standards
during the conduct of all Toastmasters activities.
Yay!
These new members have pledged to be full participants in the Fresno City Toastmasters Club. What do you, the members of Fresno City Toastmasters Club, pledge to them? And so now I would ask for us members to repeat together. We,
The members.
We, the members
Fresno City
of the Fresno City Toastmasters Club, pledge to support you in your quest for self-development,
We
to
provide
provide you with positive, helpful evaluations, to maintain a friendly, supportive atmosphere, to give you opportunities to help others, and to make your Toastmasters membership
a
rewarding and
fulfilling
fulfilling experience.
Congratulations, everybody, and welcome to Fresno City Toastmasters.
Yay!
Awesome. Thank you, Denise. And good job, everybody. It's just as awkward when we do this in person, trying to read together as it is virtually. So
That's true.
totally fine. That's what it's supposed to sound like, I promise. Let's switch it over to our Toastmaster of the day. I'm sorry. I don't know if I remember when. Who's that? Denny Mason. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. So today, December 8th, is the day after. Yesterday was Pearl Harbor Day, which is the day that the Japanese came over and bombed Pearl Harbor. I'm going to read a few statistics to you because it's important enough that I not get it wrong. The attack killed 2,400 service members, wounded almost 1,200 more, sank and destroyed 6 U.S. ships. They also destroyed 169 Navy and Army Air Corps planes. 23 sets of brothers died aboard the USS Arizona. Up to that point, President Franklin D. Roosevelt had resisted the request by Churchill for the United States to get involved in World War II, which was already happening over in Europe. And Japanese bombing Pearl Harbor, which is in Hawaii, caused us to get involved. So today, on the 8th, is the day when the famous words were said, December 7th, a day that will live in infamy. And today, December 8th, is when we declared war on the Empire of Japan. One of the interesting things that's important that we not forget, here locally, there was a Japanese internment camp, and almost 120,000 Japanese people, the majority of whom were US citizens, were rounded up and sent to 10 internment camps in the United States, one of which is where Fresno Fairgrounds is now. And they were, those areas were fairgrounds, racetracks, they were basically areas for animals. And each one of those, quite a lot of people died in those camps. 1,600 people died in those camps while they were waiting for World War II too. And the farmers here in the area had 6 days to, not just farmers, but everyone who's Japanese had 6 days to round up their things, distribute it, pack what they could take with them in their hand before they went to those internment camps. Many of those people were farmers. The area I live in, Reedley, there were Mennonites here who took over those farms for their Japanese neighbors while they were in internment camps. So there's a lot of history there, but definitely many things to remember about today and yesterday, Pearl Harbor Day. Thank you. Now I'm going to introduce our general evaluator, Chanel West.
Thank you, Ms. Denny, for sharing some of that history with us. It is important to remember those things. I am going to be the general evaluator for today, so I will introduce our evaluation team as well as oversee the meeting and make sure that everything is running smoothly. It's somewhat exciting because our evaluation team today is all people who are new members and were inducted today. So whoop, whoop. Good job, everybody, for getting in there. Firstly, I'm going to introduce Winnie, who is our grammarian and is going to give us our word of the day.
My role as grammarian is to take note and comment on the use of English during the course of the meeting. I'm not sure I choose the word is correct today. I didn't see the theme today, I'm sorry. I chose the word is related to the Christmas carol. It's non-religious folk song or popular hymn, particularly one associated with Christmas. For example, we sing carols by candlelight. The verb is sing or say something happily. She has cheerfully caroling the words of the song. Thank you.
Thank you, Winnie. And the word of the day doesn't have to do with the theme necessarily. In fact, usually it doesn't, so you're totally fine. Next, I am going to introduce Brent, who is our ought counter.
Hello, I'm Brent Paulson. I'll be the ought counter today. The purpose of the ought counter is to note unnecessary words and sounds used by members who speak during the meeting. Words or phrases that may be used inappropriately or unnecessarily include and, well, but, so, or you know. Sounds may include or So that will conclude my ought counter of the day.
Thank you, Brent. And next, everybody, please welcome our timer for today, who is Heather.
Hello. This is my first time doing the timer. I did want to quickly clarify one thing with you. When I let you know how much time is left, is it how much time you have left, or is it how much time you have spoke so far? I just want to verify.
Did you download the app?
I have just the regular. When I asked last meeting, I was told that any timer is fine as long as I have a timer. I just wanted to make sure that I'm giving you the correct information. So I just want to make sure that it's the time left that I'm letting you know. You have like 2 minutes left, okay. Or that's correct.
So you're using a chrono, like a normal, just stop.
Yeah, just a regular timer.
Okay. So what you'll do on the speeches, since they're 5 to 7 minutes, so you can hold up like a number 1 at 5 minutes, number 2 at 6, and then a number 3 at 7. I think that'll work. And then same thing with your evaluators, the 2 to 3 minute, right at 2 minutes, the 1, 2.5, the 2, 3 minutes, the 3. And then table topic, same thing, 1 minute, 1:30, 2. That should work.
Okay, that's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure I got the right, the right time for you guys. So I will be your timer for today. And like Joey said, you have 4 to 7 minutes for the speeches, and then for the table topics, 2 to 3. So, thank you.
I just wanted to jump in for a second. Taylor, is it your icebreaker speech today?
Yes.
Okay, so Taylor's speech is 4 to 6. Joey's speech is 5 to 7.
4 to 6. Thank you.
I didn't change it on the agenda. That was my bad.
Okay, who's going to time Taylor? Oh, never mind. All right, disregard me.
Okay, thank you, Heather. And the final evaluation team member role is Zoom Master, which I am doing today, and I already made a mistake, so I'm going to try to be better from here on out. It's my first time. So with that, please welcome back our Toastmaster of the day, Denny.
Okay, we have an exciting speech to start out with. Joey is doing Visionary Pathway Level 2, Speech 2. And he's got this crazy title for this speech today called, What's Your Animal Communication Type? The lion, the fox, the sloth, or the owl? And Joey invests in businesses. He helps them grow and scale through acquisition. He's working on taking his business from 6 to 7 figures in the next year. Please welcome Joey Myers in his speech, What's Your Animal Communication Type?
Thank you, Denny. And then Chanel, can you give me hosting power, por favor, so I can share my screen? Please. Thank you. Here we go. Everybody see that? Everybody good? Title of the speech, again, is what's your animal communication type? The lion, the fox, the sloth, or the owl? I always love to start off with quotes. And the quote is, "It is the mark of an educated mind to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it." And I will try and return to this at the end, and it will become pretty clear why. So what we're going to, what we'll be discussing in this speech, the 4 different communication animals or types, communication types. We'll find out which do you think you are, why I am a lion, at least at this point in time, and some takeaways from the little evaluation I went through for this speech, the communication style little evaluation. First one, the lion. So of the 4 types, the lion, if you scored highest here, you're a direct communicator style, more of a direct, results-oriented, focused, and competitive, motivated to get things accomplished. You are quick and decisive. And as I go through these, think about if this is your go-to default, or if maybe this is something you go to here and there for different situations. You're quick to be decisive because you are independent, confident. You prefer a busy, efficient, and structured environment. Others may sometimes perceive you as impatient, so this could be the weakness of this, and demanding. Allowing others to share feelings and explain details can encourage dialogue. Let's go into the fox. The fox is the initiating communicator. This is sociable, enthusiastic, and persuasive. You communicate easily and fluently with others and have a spontaneous and fun-loving nature. Relationships are important, and you respond strongly to praise and approval. Due to your energetic and expressive nature, though, others may feel you talk more than you listen. Remember to allow others to share their opinions and their thoughts. The sloth. Look at those big long nails. Funny how with those big long nails that they're not very aggressive. As a supportive communicator, you are seen as patient, cooperative, and sympathetic. You are an active listener and anticipate the needs of others. Calm and steady. You desire personal and a relaxed environment. Because of your dislike of change, you may appear indecisive at times. Do not hesitate to ask for more detail or information if needed. Now, the last one of the 4 is the owl. The analytical communicator is a cautious, precise, and disciplined animal or communication style. You are a deliberate and methodical problem solver, conscientious and careful. You are often diplomatic in your interactions. Here's the weakness of it. You may be perceived as a perfectionist. Denise mentioned that a little bit earlier about yours truly. Socializing with others will allow them to realize you are also diplomatic. Now, which of these animals do you think you are? And of course, you're going to be a little of these animals in different situations and scenarios, but which one do you think you are a default, that you normally default to? Are you the lion? Are you the fox, the sloth, or the owl? Now, why I'm a lion? We talked about this: decisive, competitive, independent, confident, goal-driven. Others may perceive strong-willed or demanding, can seem impatient or bored some of the time. This is something over the last maybe year or two that I've been more defaulting to as the lion. In my business, I learned a couple different things. I learned it was different when my business was 5 figures a year. I had to run it differently than when it was 6 figures a year. And I'm now finding that you have to run it different if you're shooting for 7 figures plus a year. And the difference, especially between the 6-figure to the 7-figure part, is that 6 figures, you can almost get away with doing a lot of the things yourself. Sure, you can delegate, So I have an online business. You can delegate someone to do the design, website design stuff. You can delegate for somebody to do the coding, the website coding, and trying to the infrastructure in the back end. And it's fine and dandy. You can delegate a couple of those things, but as you try and grow from there, you just don't have enough time and energy to put in as yourself, as the lion, into growing the business. So what I have to do is I have to learn how to delegate a little bit more of the sloth. I have to take in and take what's in my brain and be able to put it on a piece of paper in a what's called a standard operating procedure, or a step-by-step on how to do certain tasks or how to accomplish different goals. And I have to take somebody who, say, a virtual assistant, which I'm training. I have a couple of them right now that I'm training to do different aspects. They have different skill sets. And so I'm having some do outreach for influencers or podcast owners. And then I have another one who has a computer science degree to do more of the technical stuff, like the SEO, the running Facebook ads and things like that. So I'm learning to be a little bit less of a lion, although it's good in certain aspects in getting to deadlines and making sure we cut to the core of what we need to do, but also need to be a little bit more of the other three: the fox, the sloth, and the owl. Now, some takeaways from this evaluation that I found. Number one, you can default into any one of these: the lion, the fox, the sloth, or the owl, but you also have to know what the weaknesses are. But your effectiveness, this is the big thing, as a communicator, depends on being a chameleon. Everybody knows a chameleon, it camouflages itself to the environment that it's in. Not saying that you have to camouflage yourself physically, but more of your communication style has to fit who you're talking to, what your goal or task that you're trying to accomplish. So I think that's really important to be effective as a communicator, is you have to know when to become a lion, when to become a fox, when to become a sloth and an owl. The situation or animal you're negotiating with may require a change in skin. You don't talk to an owl the same as you would talk to, say, a fox, who's more of a persuader and more of a friendly relationship type of person. It's going to take a different tactic when you're negotiating with each particular animal. And lastly, the hardest thing for me to do is to delegate, act like a sloth. And that is something over the last pretty recent 2-3 months that I've been working on in my business, is being able to be more sloth in taking some stuff off my plate so that I can effectively duplicate myself in order to do more things, because I can't do everything all at once, because things like Facebook marketing, email marketing, SEO require almost somebody's full-time attention to be able to be effective at that. What we discussed today: the 4 different animal types of communication. Which do you think you are? Why I'm a lion? And then the takeaways. Thank you.
Thanks, Joey. That was great. I'm definitely a foxy sloth.
All right, let me give back.
And next we have Taylor giving her icebreaker to us today.
Oh,
can you see me? Am I frozen?
My video is not working again.
Yeah, me either.
Okay, I'm gonna try to, can I just try to get on with my phone real quick again, and then I'll start back up.
Joey, can you hear me?
And I'm going to give the hosting back to, let me see, where's Chanel at? There she is.
Joey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Good. Okay, thank you.
Okay, Chanel's back to host.
Say when.
Go for it.
Okay, so we have Taylor back?
Yep, I'm here.
Hey, all right. Taylor is giving her icebreaker today. She is California Central Valley, born and raised. She has a career in natural resource conservation and a long history of odd jobs. Exciting. Taylor is currently learning how to birdwatch, mountain bike, and bake a perfect blueberry scone. She's going to delight us today with her icebreaker speech titled A Winding Path Leads to Fresno. Taylor.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning into my icebreaker speech. I'm very excited to be a newly initiated member to the Fresno City Toastmasters. And today I'm going to give you a little bit of insight into my life and my world. So my name is Taylor Frederick. I am 29 years old, born and raised in Stockton, California. I've been living in Fresno for 2 years with my boyfriend, Devin, and our 90-pound dog, Homer. I work as a conservation planner for the U.S. Department of Agriculture, and I help farmers and ranchers care for their natural resources. My job in conservation is a huge part of my identity, and I value this role deeply. Oops. Can people see me? Outside of work, I love spending time with my sister and my 2-year-old niece, and I'm learning how to mountain bike, which, like public speaking, I find terrifying, but I'm determined to get better. Telling people the story of how I got from Stockton to Fresno is always challenging. You might be thinking, why is that complicated? They're a straight shot from one another. They're like 2 hours apart, no big deal. But really, my route from Stockton to Fresno looks more like this. In the past 9 years, I've lived in 4 different states, 8 different towns, and I've had about 12 different jobs. My path has been winding, full of ups and downs, successes and failures. And today I'm gonna share 3 or 4 of those experiences that really shaped who I am today. When I was 22, I moved to Helena, Montana, where I battled sub-0 degree temperatures and I had a few grizzly bear encounters. I worked as a secretary for the Montana State Legislature, and it was a whole different world. The senators there wore cowboy hats and bolo ties, and I would ride my bike to the Capitol building, leave it outside unlocked, walk into the Capitol with no security. And their idea of a security guard were 70-year-old retired men who would hand out candy to people. It was just, it was like I was living in a different era and a really unique experience. When I was 23, I moved to Corbett, Oregon, where I apprenticed on a woman-owned and operated organic vegetable farm. There, I learned how to drive tractors and harvest vegetables and run a small-scale farming business. And I've never worked so hard or been so tired in my entire life. When I was 25, I moved to Three Rivers, California, which is a small town outside of Sequoia National Park. And there I worked as a biological technician for the Park Service. I got to do some really cool work there, including putting out cameras, wildlife cameras to monitor bear activity and recording bird songs for scientific data. When my boyfriend and I first moved there, though, there was a housing shortage. So we were forced to rent out someone's barn. And often we were woken up in the middle of the night by possums and snakes infiltrating our bedroom. And I'm happy to say within a few months, we found an actual house to live in. So landing back in the California Central Valley was definitely not in my plan, but Fresno has been one of my favorite places I've lived. People here are extremely genuine and friendly, and I'm really excited to grow some roots here and develop into the person I've been chasing for the last 9 years. I've always wanted to join a Toastmasters club, but I've moved too much to commit to one. I'm really excited to learn from all of you guys and develop my skills in public speaking. So thank you for listening to a little bit about my crazy past, and that's my speech.
Thank you. That was great. We're going to move on to table topics. Sarah, are you with us?
Yes, I am here. Thank you, Denny.
All right.
Let's see. So I was actually really excited about doing table topics today because it's Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day. And I was actually at Pearl Harbor on Sunday, December 7th, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. But yesterday, December 7th is a day of remembrance for our nation. It's a day that started our involvement in World War II. There were great losses and great triumphs. It marked a milestone that changed people's lives forever. History is filled with these kind of stories. And as we just heard from Taylor, I'm sure our own life is filled with all these kinds of stories where great triumphs, great losses. And the following questions are based on us remembering the importance of these milestones. So there's 4 different questions. One is, what is the way you remember your losses or triumphs? Number 2, and I'll post these in the chat in just a second. Do you think it is important to remember and reflect about these types of events? Why or why not? And have you ever been to Pearl Harbor? What was it like? If not, have you been to other memorials and what was your experience? And number 4, what are some major milestones in your life that have changed you? I wanted to answer number 3, which is, have I ever been to Pearl Harbor? And yes, I was there. Like I said, I was there Sunday, December 7th. It was 73 years after the original Sunday, December 7th. And they had several survivors there from Pearl Harbor that were sitting out there. These are all men in their 90s, and they were sitting out on the platform, like right before you board to get across to the memorial. And I really wanted to go and talk with them, but I couldn't because they were sitting there with these little signs around their necks that said who they were or what they were doing. And it just made me both mad and because I'm like, why are you treating these men like cattle? Like just putting these signs around their neck. But then I also just thought about all those experiences that they would have been through. I can't imagine having to live through something like that. And just seeing them out there having survived all of this made me cry then, and it still makes me cry now just thinking about it. But I'm just thinking like those things keep us, like when we remember like what people have sacrificed and what people have done, it changes your outlook on life. I think it's changed me in remembering these kind of things. So I would love to hear about your remembering, how you guys remember losses and triumphs and different things like that. Let me post them in here. There are yes. So they're now in the chat if you guys want to review those different questions. Who would like to go first?
This is Denny, if no one else is going.
Do it.
Okay. My dad was one of those old guys.
Oh, wow.
And he's no longer with us. But the interesting thing about remembering all of that is that those men, I want to say men and women who were part of that effort, part of their bravery and their courage was that they didn't talk about it.
Wow.
And so they just went and did what was considered their duty at the time, and they felt that it was their duty. They did what they had to do, which when we hear the personal stories now, they're unbelievable stories of bravery and courage. And it makes me realize how easy we have it because of them. I know that my dad later in his life talked about, because I urged him to, his job basically was to go in and do cleanup after a bad situation there. So my dad was also a musician, and he and his brother served together. And they decided that the best way to get through the war was to join the band. And they successfully managed to get themselves into the Army band, which was very good. And he learned how to cut hair, which he was a barber for the rest of his life.
Wow.
That's my story.
Wow, thank you, Denny. That's incredible.
Great story, Denny.
Yeah, such firsthand experience with all of that. So thank you. Well, I guess not firsthand, secondhand, but
related to firsthand.
so close to that. It's amazing. Who else like to share? There's 4 different questions. So what is a way you remember your losses or triumphs? Do you think it is important to remember and reflect about these types of events? Why or why not? Have you ever been to Pearl Harbor and what was it like? If not, have you been to other memorials and what was your experience? And number 4, what are some major milestones in your life that have changed you? Oh, Denise.
Trying to remember what year it was. It was right after my youngest daughter graduated from high school. We went on a graduation trip to Hawaii and went to Pearl Harbor. Like Sarah, I'm very emotional, and there was a gentleman there. And Sarah, envisioning what you saw with the draping of the boards, pinged my heart. I had a different experience.
Okay.
This gentleman was in a certain infantry, I guess they're called. Would that be appropriate? Infantry? And he, I think, was maybe one of 2 that were surviving. He had recently written a book, and he was sitting there. He was so adorable, and he seemed small, even though he seemed huge. You know what I mean? He just was precious. I wanted to just pick him up and bring him home with me. It was an amazing experience. I hate everything about war, absolutely everything. I do like history, so that part of it, it's, Sarah, it's so fascinating and so heartbreaking at the same time. It's just such a mix of emotions. But I would definitely say, if you can go there, go there. It's an incredible experience.
Thank you, Denise, so much for being so open about that. Appreciate it. I think we have time for 1, maybe 2 more.
Sonia raised her hand.
Oh, Sonia? Oh, go for it, Sonia.
I think one of the questions you said that was why it's important to remember this events. I think it's really, really important to remember these things because we need to honor those who've served, for our freedoms. And just like 2 months ago in October, one of my boyfriend's former neighbors, he served in World War II. And he has a story. And so I wanted one day before, he passed away, I really wanted to hear his story. And so I took a notebook to the housing where he was little seniors homes. And so I took a notebook, and he said he went to Normandy. He said it was really brutal in Normandy. And he went to the Battle of the Bulge. And he showed me his little medals and everything that he got. And so, yeah, I think it's really important to preserve that history, and it's just to remember it and to honor those who served. And we just need to respect that. We really do need to respect that. So.
Amen, Sonia.
Thank you, Sonia.
Thank you.
All right, and I think we have time for 1 more.
Becca?
All right, Winnie. Oh, I saw Winnie speak up
Okay.
before you start. That's all right. Go for it, Winnie.
I would like to answer number 4. The first major milestones changed my life, changed me in my life is, I think that I had the first baby. My life changed everything. And my boss knew I had a baby. He fired me because he don't want mommy and pregnant went to work. That changed me. So after that, I had a baby. I need to take care of kids, and my baby cried all night. And before I'm really free. I went to the hiking. I went to some with my friend playing. And after that, I stay at home the whole day. I can't sleep. And I'm so tired. But after 1 year later, I grew a lot. I learned how to be a mother, how to be patient, how to get used with my family, and with my mother-in-law, father-in-law, we stay together. Oh, that's the complex life, the first year. The second one is I changed my lifestyle. I moved to American, and I learned a new language. I changed my religion from Buddhism to the Christian.
Wow.
Well, everything changed. I need to think the different way, learn the culture, communicate with the American. So everything changed. And the second one changed me is for this situation. Our family stayed at home and took care of kids, cooking every day, and learning English. And the biggest one, I joined Toastmaster, learned English, and get everybody's help. Thank you.
Whitney, thank you. That is those are some major milestones and major.
Oh, yes.
Like there is nothing the same about your life. That's incredible. Thank you for sharing. I'm going to hand it back over to the general evaluator.
Okay, thank you, Sarah, for leading us in that discussion. I'll just move it along here so we have time for both of the evaluations. So I'm going to introduce Denise, who is evaluating Joey's speech. Please welcome Denise.
Thank you. Joey, you did show some perfection in your speech, I have to say. I want to point out, first of all, you had great eye contact at the very beginning. You were like laser focused. It is, again, we're saying this a lot in our evaluations during this Zoom period, that it isn't the same as being in person. So Joey's pretty energetic and does a lot of movement and takes up space for those who haven't actually met Joey in person. And so I think that is the only detriment to you. It isn't your detriment. It's just, you know, this forum doesn't allow you to really, so you kind of have to stay here. So I would maybe suggest just backing up a little bit if you can, because we can't see your hand gestures. Other than that, you do a great job. And Joey has mentored a lot of people in this skill about telling you what he's going to tell you, telling you, and then reminding you at the end of what he's going to tell you. He did a great job on that. I thought the subject was really interesting. You had everything organized. It was easy to understand. The only thing I might be a little lost on is the quote at the beginning. And I didn't feel like that got finished up at the end. So maybe you can clarify for that for us after I'm done. But overall, Joey, you always do a great job. You always bring something interesting and something to think about for us. And I would just like to share that I was hoping to be a sloth at the beginning. And I'm pretty sure it's true. I am a sloth, and a lot more than just my communication style, probably. But thank you, Joe. You did a great job.
Thank you, Denise. Yeah, I did forget to tie that in. So the purpose of that quote, to tie it up for you all, to give you some closure on that, was that you got other people that have different communication styles or different animals, and you have to be able to be in their skin. You have to be able to understand from their point of view. If I'm a lion, but I need to understand a sloth, I need to be able to get into their skin in order to understand how I need to address or negotiate or ask them to do a task. So that was the purpose of but I forgot to bring it back. Thanks, Denise.
Thank you, Denise. And next, please welcome President Farron to evaluate Taylor's speech. Do I have the right person? You're muted, Farron.
Oh, my bad. I can't see myself. Am I spotlighted? I just want to make sure that I'm looking at the camera, but.
Yes, you look good.
Still can't see myself a little under, but it's okay. All right, there we go. Let's get started. Congratulations, Taylor, on your icebreaker speech. It's always the hardest because it's the very first one. You're probably nervous and uncomfortable, and it makes it even harder to do it in the Zoom format. Let's start with what you did well. And I think you had a very friendly demeanor. You were smiling the whole time. You seemed pretty comfortable speaking in front of everybody. You gave us a nice setup for your story of how you got from Stockton to Fresno, and then you popped in with your little map. I would say maybe hold it there a little while longer. I kind of glimpsed it, but then maybe I wanted to see it a little bit more. But I think that was a really good way to organize it by talking about your career and how you moved from place to place. It's really hard to narrow down what you're going to talk about in an icebreaker because there's so much to you. There's your family that you can talk about, your career, your hobbies, whatever. So I like that you kept it simple and you just went with your career path and how it got you everywhere, all over the US practically, and then back to the Central Valley. So I think you did a really great job at that. A couple things you may want to work on are looking at your notes. I still do it. I'm obviously still doing it for this, but just something to keep in mind. And also your conclusion. I feel like you had a really strong line. You said something like, you're excited to become more of the person you've been chasing for the past 9 years. I don't know if that's exactly correct, but you said that line, and I think you could have cut the speech there and it would have been a really phenomenal conclusion. But then you were like, thanks for listening to my speech. It's kind of like you didn't really know how to conclude it. And a simple thank you, maybe after that line, could have ended it. So that's just something that you can work on. Conclusions to different speeches can look a lot differently, but I think with that really powerful line that you had, it could have ended there. To challenge yourself, I think at this point, it's your very first speech. There's nothing that you really need to challenge yourself with other than just to keep getting up here and practicing and working on that organization that you already have down, working on your conclusions, and just getting more comfortable and familiar with how everything works in our Zoom format. One thing is make sure that your camera works on the device that you intend to use before. And I know it's technology, but things happen, and you did a great job of just switching over to your phone. I think other than that, you did a great job. You had great eye contact, gestures, vocal variety, your clarity was great. Everything was awesome. Good job.
Thanks, Farron.
Thank you, Farron. Now I'm going to call back up the evaluation team so you guys can give your timer report, all-counter report, and grammarian report for our meeting today. So firstly, I'm going to call up Heather to give us the timer report. Please welcome Heather.
Thank you. Okay, so Taylor, for your speech, you did 4 minutes and 33 seconds. For Joey, you hit 7 minutes and 50 seconds, 5-0. For table topics, Sarah, you were at 2 minutes and 25 seconds. Denny, you were at 1 minute and 36 seconds. Denise, 1 minute and 40 seconds. Sonia, 1 minute and 16 seconds. And Winnie, 2 minutes and 10 seconds. I also timed the evaluators. Was I supposed to do that? Okay. For the evaluators, Denise, you were at 2 minutes and 2 seconds, and Farron, you were at 2 minutes and 44 seconds. And that is all I have for timer. I'll pass you back to Chanel, sorry.
Thank you, good job. And now Brent is going to give us our all-counter report.
Thank you, Chanel. I feel everyone did a very good job on the Oz and crutch words today. I found a few, not a lot, but Joey, you did not have any. Taylor, you just had one at the very end, kind of when, like Farron had said at the very end, not knowing where to stop, but I felt you had very good pausing and not leaning on any crutch words in your speech. Sarah, introducing the table topics, you did not have any, nor did Denny, nor Denise. Sonia had one, and so, and one, you know. Winnie had 2 ahs, and Denise, evaluating Joey's speech, had 1. Sarah had 0 when evaluating Taylor's speech. And with that, I will turn it back over to Chanel.
Thank you, Brent. Good job. Very thorough. Now, Winnie is going to give us the Grammarian Report for today.
I'm so sorry. I did not catch this word. Did somebody say that word?
I don't think anybody said it, Winnie.
I think we all failed today.
Oh, my fault. Sorry. This word is not related to our theme and the table topic. Yeah.
That's okay, but we have to challenge ourselves to use it. So good work. Good one.
Thank you.
Yeah, good job. So overall, I think we had a good meeting today. I think it was a really full meeting, which I really enjoyed after some stretches of not always having speeches and stuff like that. It was kind of fun to actually see people competing for table topics time because everybody had something that they wanted to add. Also, 2 really good speeches, as always, by Joey. Just slamming it out there. Joey, I appreciated the creativity of adding the animals into that speech because I had to give a similar speech a few months ago, and I think it would have been more creative if I had thought to do something engaging like adding the
I
animals.
learned it from you, Chanel. Those beautiful color pictures that you use.
And Taylor set the stage for some very interesting speeches I hope to come. She teased a lot of different really interesting pieces of her life that I think we're all excited to learn more about in the future. So really good job, Taylor. Thank you. That's my evaluation of our meeting. So I will hand the podium back over to Farron to conclude.
Thanks, Chanel. Yeah, great job, everybody. I feel like the meeting went really well. Do we have any birthdays coming up? And that's through the end of December because, oh, actually, no. We meet next week. Any birthdays this week?
My birthday's on Thursday. Thursday, yeah.
Thursday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Heather.
Birthday.
Thank you.
Today she's official.
Should I bring my
birthday present?
All right, so next week I'll bring my niece out. She'll be 2 soon.
Oh,
yeah. You guys have seen her before. She always she's glued to me.
Awesome. Sweet. And a virtual sticker to our speakers, Joey and Taylor. Especially Taylor for your awesome icebreaker. That's always the toughest one. So good job, virtual sticker to you. And virtual stickers to our entire evaluation team because you're all new members and you're just taking on these roles right away. So I'm really proud of you guys. Good job. I think that's it. Do we fill out next week's agenda?
Yep.
Okay. Toastmaster, and the meeting theme for next week is how to give a toast. That's what we're supposed to be good at as Toastmasters, right? Who would like to be the Toastmaster next week?
I'll do Toastmaster unless somebody else wants to.
Go for it, Chanel.
Okay. And we have speakers, Sonia and myself. Sonia, you still good to go?
Yes.
Cool. Does anyone want to be a 3rd speaker for that day?
I was thinking maybe doing my icebreaker.
Yes. So may or may not, we'll pick a table topics person, but we may or may not need them.
Yeah. And evaluators for those 3 speeches. Who would like to evaluate Sonia?
I can do Sonia.
All right. And who would like to evaluate me?
Denny.
Denny, thank you. And evaluator for Heather for her icebreaker. Denise? Oh, Sarah?
Oh, it doesn't matter. Denise can.
Go ahead, Sarah.
Okay. I'll do it.
All right. And a table topics master, although we might not get to it. Heather?
You sure? For you doing a speech that day, you sure you want to do both?
Yeah, I think I can. I feel good about it.
Okay.
Awesome.
Thank you.
General evaluator? And grammarian?
I can do that.
Taylor?
I'll counter.
I can do both if needed too.
How about Storm? Sorry, Taylor. Just trying to.
Oh, is that is Storm all counter or?
I'll counter.
Sure, got it.
Okay, let's do that.
Actually excited.
Timer?
Winnie?
Perfect. Zoom master.
I can do that one if you need me, Farron.
Okay. I think everything is filled out. Just let me know if you want to speak at our first meeting in January. You can email me if you don't know if you're going to be ready, or yeah, we're good to go. Any questions, concerns, comments? Nope. All right. Well, awesome meeting. And I'm really glad we had our induction ceremony, our new members. I would like to figure out a way. Do you know how to do a screenshot, Chanel, so that we can have a photo of our new members?
If you don't.
Yeah, I can print my screen.
No. Here, let me do this. All right, let's give a big smile right now. Wait, hold on. Okay, because what'll happen when I click to take the screenshot, it'll stop the pane. So, all right, 1, 2, 3, smile, everybody. Got it. All but me. I have one of those awkward faces.
We do it.
All right.
Do one more, Joe. You can.
Do one more.
One more.
Come on.
Okay, well, hold on here. Here we go. Okay, hold on. Okay, including me. All right, 1, 2, 3.
Smile,
Smile.
Joey.
There we go. Much better.
Oh man, as soon
All right, I got it.
as soon as she's like, smile, Joey, I looked off.
Yeah, I was like, all right, I got it. So I'll send that over to Chanel, right?
Yeah.
She's our social media guru.
Yes.
She's doing great. I saw another link on LinkedIn.
I'm trying.
Good work, social media guru.
Good job, Chanel.
Good job, Chanel.
Good job. Oh.
All right. I'll see everybody next week, December 15th.
Yay.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. Have a good week. Bye.